Alright, let's do this. Okay. Let's watch the tutorial. Oh, let me explain first. This is the current look of the game. I didn't level design this, by the way. It was all procedurally generated by Dungeon Architect, one of the assets I bought. And I'll be exploring the tutorials for this one later on. But currently, what I want to work on is the character controller from Opsive, the third-person character controller, because I want to get the player moving around and attacking things as soon as possible. I could technically show you that it already does that, but I don't have any enemies yet, so there's no interaction between multiple characters yet. I only have the player going around. I also very quickly applied the Realtoon Shader on this placeholder characters thing. I think I'm colorblind, so I'm not quite good with choosing the right colors, but it's just the placeholder for now. So yeah, we have some basic attacks and some jumping and some sprinting and strafing. You can even block and zoom in, but I'm probably gonna get rid of the zoom in when you're blocking, and I'm also gonna probably code some parry mechanic like Sekiro, in case you know how that works, but I'll explain all of those in some other time. So first, I think we're gonna watch the tutorial for the third-person character controller. I'm currently at the runtime item pickup tutorial, so I'll be running through all of these until I no longer see the need to watch them and I can do my own custom code. But for the basics, I'm just learning these things. Let's see, is anyone here? No, not yet. And yeah, let's watch the tutorial.
Items at edit time rather than adding them at runtime. By adding items at runtime, you're able to add a whole bunch of different items by basically just creating a new prefab of that item, and it makes it really easy to add this new item. This is actually the method that's used by our standalone inventory asset with the character controller integration. All the items are added at runtime, and you'll kind of see this more with RPGs rather than something like a first-person shooter. But it's a great feature to have, so let's go ahead and go through for how to add items at runtime. I'm assuming with this video that you've seen the previous videos on setting up a first and third-person item. That video or those videos go in depth into how to set up an item, and you'll want to make sure you watch those first, as I'm not going to go into that same depth at all for all the fields within the item manager. So let's get started by opening up the item manager. And
okay, let's open up the item manager. This one. Loading. Okay, there we go.
For this, the name of this one, this item that we want to create, we'll call it Runtime Sword, because it will be a sword that can be picked up at runtime.
Oh, nice. Runtime sword.
No, I'm really creative. All right, so now let's go ahead and add the item type, and we will use the same item type that we used within the mail.
Okay, so let's use my sword. There we go.
Weapon video. And for character, we're going to leave this blank. And we want to leave it blank because we are using a runtime item and we aren't necessarily assigning it to a specific character.
Okay.
So because this character field is blank, we need to assign the slot ID. The slot ID is the location that the runtime item should be added to, and we can find that ID by drilling down to the character's hands and seeing what ID is assigned for that item slot. So we can see that there's this item game object, and there's an item slot component that has an ID of 1 for the character's left hand, and for the character's right hand, it has an ID of 0. Now for first-person arms, depending on if you've already configured an item for it, you may not actually have this component, this item slot.
Wait, I'll just lower the music volume. There you go.
Component for each hand, and that's no problem. If you don't happen to have it, then you can just go ahead and create a new child game object. The name doesn't matter, but I prefer to name it items, and then you'll want to add the item slot component. And this ID should be a unique value, and so 1 is a unique value for the first person arms because it represents the left hand. This value should match the same thing on the third person perspective if you're using a third person character. So getting back to our runtime sword, we have a slot ID of 0, so that looks good because we want it to appear in the right hand.
Okay, yep, slot ID is 0.
The animator ID, we should use a value of 22 because that's the value that our animator uses in the demo scene. We now can go to this first-person visible item. We are not adding a base object because we want to use this base object right here, and so we're just leaving that empty because we want this sword to spawn as a child of these no-one first-person arms. So the visible item, we want to assign the sword model to that visible item. So I'm just going to drag that model in, and the model.
Okay, sword model. Oh yeah, I should probably replace the sword model. Okay, let me... Ah, shucks. I'm gonna have to do this again. Okay, let's just screenshot this, paste it here so I can just refer to it later because I'm not gonna continue it. Then I'm gonna search for the sword model, which is where is it? Was it just iron sword? I wonder. Ah no, it's here, sword 01. Or was it? Or is it this? I know this one for sure. Yeah. Okay. So let's close the player. Let's drag this in. And then I want to right click, unpack. Wait. Yeah, unpack prefab. Then I'm gonna go to mine. What's this? To my folder. Prefabs. Create a folder for items. Let's drag this sword here. Actually, let's name it. What do I want to name it? Let's name it Sword Staff. I feel like I want to make a sword staff for this game. So there we go. And then player. The player is currently not using sword staff, but it's just for the future. Oh, that means this sword staff is the one that I'll be using here.
So the visible item, we want to assign the sword model to that visible item. So I'm just going to drag that model in.
Okay, so I need to drag it into here directly, the prefab, I mean. Yep, it's all gone, but I screenshotted the thing, so this is supposed to be named Runtime Sword. No item. This item definition is my sword. Okay. No character, slot ID 0, animator item ID 22. And then the visible item is sword staff. There you go. Visible item. This one. Okay, what else?
And the model does not have an animator controller, so I'll leave that blank. And I'm going to do something similar for third person. So now the last thing that we need to do is assign the action type, and the action type should be melee weapon. So now when we hit build, instead of the item being added to the character, it's going to be saved as a prefab. So
oh, nice. Okay. So save it as melee weapon, build. Okay, so it'll be saved as a prefab. So I need to go to prefabs items. So this one, prefabs items. Why is sword staff? Oh, PS is the icon for a prefab file apparently. Looks like Photoshop. Okay, so yeah, let's just call this runtime sword for now. Okay, then close that.
So now I'm just going to hit save, and we can see it right here. The last thing that we need to do is we need to figure out a way to actually pick up the item. And so now that the item is created, we need to figure out a way to actually have the character pick up the item, because the character doesn't actually know that this sword exists. And we can do that by creating a new item pickup under the object manager. I'll call this
object manager. Okay, object manager. So
because the character doesn't actually know that this sword exists, and we can do that by creating a new item pickup under the
item pickup. Okay.
The object manager. I'll call this runtime sword pickup.
Okay, runtime sword pickup.
And then the game object that we want to use is the sword model. So that's that same model that we used previously. And let me grab that in. And now we will.
So it's the prefab. This one. Oh wait, no. The sword model is this one.
We'll hit build object. And
wait,
so that's that same model that we used previously. And let me grab that in. And now we will hit build object. And we can close this because we're done with that. So let's just drag this prefab in, and we'll put it a little bit in front of the character. So now when we start playing, let's see what happens. Actually, okay, so nothing happens. The reason for that is because this sword pickup doesn't know about that sword runtime item. We can fix that by specifying first a pickup set. This specifies the item.
Okay. So we have the sword staff, so let's just build object. And let's save it in here. Prefabs items here. Okay, then let's bring it up out here. Let's also delete sword staff temporarily. I have to go to the item set. Here, item pickup. Pickup set. Okay, so he added a pickup set.
Sword pickup doesn't know about that sword runtime item. We can fix that by specifying first a pickup set. This specifies the items that should be picked up when this item is picked up, and we want to drag the runtime sword in. You'll notice.
Okay, we drag runtime sword here.
set the slot is automatically filled in because it detects which sword or which item was assigned to it, and then it will automatically fill in the slot, so all that looks good. Then under item definition amounts, we want to add the my sword item type, because that just allows the inventory or the item pickup to know that it should actually pick up this sword. If I were to not...
Okay, where was that? Item definition amounts. This should be my sword, and we are picking up one sword.
Have this item definition amount at all, and I just had this pickup set, then the character would just add the sword to his hierarchy, but he wouldn't actually pick it up within the inventory. Because we want to actually pick it up as well within the inventory, that's why we're specifying this item definition amount. So now when I hit play, we should get a different result. And if I walk to it, you can see that I do have the sword. It's hard to see in the game view, but you can clearly see it in the scene view. If I switch to third person, you can see that I have the sword as well. So that's it in terms of the kind of runtime portion. We now need to position the sword. And actually, let me hit play again. This positioning should be very familiar to you from the other videos, in that you have to position this visible item into a specific location based on this gizmo. And instead of spending the time trying to figure out the values that work for that, I already have a good set of values, so I'm just going to paste that in. The trick now with runtime item is, because this object is spawned dynamically, as soon as I end Unity, it's going to figure out these values. So what I want to do now is lock this inspector so that I can remember these values, and then I'm going to open up the prefab for this runtime sword, and I'm going to do that within a new inspector tab. And so now let me open up.
Wow. Okay. Hold up. Let's do this step by step. Oh God. I never knew Unity could do this. So we have a runtime sword pickup. Let's first move it closer to the player. Okay. There it is. Oh wait. It's lower. Move it like right there. Okay. Okay. So save. And then, do I remove the sword from here? Probably should. Okay, so let's go to tools, Opsive, character controller. I think it's item manager, existing item. Let's grab my sword. Remove. What if I did this? That didn't work. Remove action. What if I did this? Oh shucks. Ah, melee weapon. There, okay. So it's still a melee weapon. What character? Existing character. Player. Perspective. Items. Check. I want the inventory though. Do I really have to just delete this item? Huh. That'll be annoying. Well, first, okay, let's go to... Okay, let's duplicate the player just in case we might need this. Let's move him like there. Okay, and then... let's unpack this prefab. Okay, and then... we want to... I don't want to remove this item, like, as a concept. I want it rather to just be removed from the player's inventory. Maybe that's it. I have to look for the inventory here. Character respawner, character health. Item set here we go. So we can set this to be none. And then this also to be set to none. Wait, I want to control Z that. Let's see. Okay, so they're filled up over here as well. But now when I remove them, it will remove them here as well. Okay. So I remove them for now. And then I want to click on the actual sort here, the actual items. Let's turn them off for now. And then let's turn off the second player. Save. And then also wait, turn this on. Okay, select the sword. This is it, right? Yep. Get the transform. Let's copy component. And then turn this off. And then close this menu. Don't maximize on play. Okay, save. Okay, let's make it around that size and then hit play. Okay, it's loading. Okay, here we go. Ah, we still have a sword. Okay, slightly annoying. But over here, in theory, I can pick up this sword if I walk to it. That doesn't work. So I have to figure out how to remove an item from the player. This player, please. Ah, here! This is the inventory, dang it, not the item set. Okay, so let's... current inventory, nothing. Default loadout. Okay, so let's remove all of these. Whoops. Wait, Control Z, Control Z. Okay, remove this. There, now he has no inventory. Which leads me to believe maybe I should keep this item set active. Just in case. Okay, now player, let's apply overrides. And then let's click, let's save. And let's hit play again. So I should not have anything equipped when we enter the game. Alright, perfect. So, ooh, that's laggy. But if I go here, I should pick it up. Yeah, it does pick it up. Nice. Very laggy, but that's how that's fine. So, and oh, I just realized it's already it's placed correctly. Ah, the block is wrong though. Yeah, the block. Oh yeah, everything's not set up with this one, this item. Yeah, okay, everything's not set up with this item. So, runtime sword. Actually, I don't think I need to fix the runtime sword, because I don't think the player will switch equipment in a game, but I'm just learning this for other kinds of items that the player can pick up and use. So I learned a little bit. I'll just keep watching this, but I won't apply it now for the game. Instead, I'll just hide this runtime sword pickup, and then I'll put it back in the player's starting inventory. So, default loadout inventory, here it is. Let's give them a sword. Let's use my sword. Okay, give them one. So save. Okay, now we start the game and let's maximize on play this time so it's not taking forever to load. Or like, more like, so I have my frames back. There we go, I have my frames back. And we have our sword. And it's animating correctly. Yep, everything's good. He's even moving his feet to the correct stance when we block. Okay, so that's stuff I learned from a previous tutorial. That's why it's already set up. Okay, I'll just watch the rest of this and then move on to the next tutorial. Meanwhile, is anything happening here? Not much. Okay. So back to this.
Paste that in. The trick now with runtime item is, because this object is spawned dynamically, as soon as I end uni, it's going to forget about these values. So what I want to do now is lock this inspector so that I can remember these values, and then I'm going to open up the prefab for this runtime sword, and I'm going to do that within a new inspector tab. And so now let me open up that prefab. And this is all the properties related to that item. And if I scroll down to the first person perspective item, this local spawn position and rotation, these are the values that I want to change for that visible item. So let me just copy and paste. And when I get done with this, I'm going to need to do the same thing for third person, and third person happens to use the exact same values, so that makes that aspect easy. So if I just copy and paste these values one more time, then when I end Unity and I spawn the character again, or I spawn the item again, they should be in the correct location. So let me get out of being in lock mode there, and I can just go ahead and close this. Now, when I hit play, the values should have persisted, and it should be appearing in the correct location. So that does look a lot better. There are some properties that obviously need to be adjusted, such as the location that this sword equips and unequips at, because it's kind of just disappearing and appearing. But now the rest of the process is exactly the same as the other videos, and you'll just want to make all your edits within this runtime sword prefab instead of on the item game object, because notice there are no items underneath that game object until I actually pick up the item and actually add it. So now this runtime sword was added. The last thing that I want to note is for the first person perspective, you'll notice that it had spawned underneath the first person arms that I have in the scene. And the reason why it did that, first let me go back to this. The item is spawning underneath these arms. So this null first person arms. And if you have multiple sets of arms, you can specify which arms it spawns under by this first person base object ID. You notice it has a value of 0. This 0 value corresponds to this base object ID value right here. So that's how it knew to spawn underneath those arms. So that's all there is to it, to runtime pickups.
Okay. Let's close that. Let's watch this.
As we've been creating the various characters and items, you've seen me talk about the state configuration and state profile field, but I haven't actually used it. So in this video, I want to go through and explain in more detail what it does. This is an extremely useful field and it allows you to get up and running really quickly. So to demonstrate what it does, I have this pretty empty scene and I've just copied over the known character from the demo scene. And I haven't added the camera controller to the camera yet. So I'm going to do that now. And for comparison, I'm going to make sure that the profile is nothing right now, just so we can see the differences. So I hit setup camera, the camera's been added. Now when I hit play, and then I start aiming, we'll notice that the camera doesn't zoom in at all. The reason for that is because there is no zoom state on this adventure view type. If we look at the states, we'll see that it just has its default state, so it doesn't know to zoom. We could either add the zoom state manually, or we could remove these camera controller components, and then we could use this main camera profile. This is a profile that I created and is shipped with the demo scene. So now when we hit setup camera, and we hit play, we'll notice that the camera zooms. It zooms because, let's scroll down, and now when we hit aim again, we'll see that the zoom state gets activated, and if we click on this zoom state, we'll see that it adjusts the look offset, the field of view, and the smoothing. So that's how the camera zooms in, and it's because of that state. So this profile field is extremely useful to use a set of preset values. The profile can be added to this main camera, the character, and then also the items. And if you wanted to create your own new profile, you can do so by right-clicking, create, ultimate character controller, and then state configuration. This will create a new file. And then let me click on that file, and let's drag in, let's say that we want to create a profile for this camera. If I drag in the copy from game object, it will allow me to copy and create a new profile. So after I hit copy, all these different states are added to the existing camera. And then you could remove them or edit the states if you wanted to, just to customize it exactly how you want your profile to be. So yeah, I highly recommend that you use these state configuration and state profiles fields, since it'll speed up your workflow dramatically.
Okay, that's really useful. So I think I'm gonna use that to remove the zoom in on the character. So first, we need to go to Tools, Setup. Oh, it's not here? Huh. Unit options? No, it's not unit options. Okay, let's see where he went to open this.
Hit copy. If I create a new file profile, that the camera zooms. It zooms. So now when we hit setup camera, and we could use this main zoom state on this adventure view type. If we look at the states, we'll see that it just has its default state, so it doesn't know to zoom. We could either add the zoom state.
You just dragged it from the left? Wait, let's go to the very beginning. Oh, whoops, play.
As we've been creating the various characters.
Welcome, setup, character, item types, item. This is... it's the character manager. Okay, tools, Opsive, character manager. There it is. Okay, there's the setup. Okay, so... yeah.
Characters and items. You've seen me talk about the state configuration and state profile field, but I haven't actually used it. So in this video, I want to go through and explain in more detail what it does. This is an extremely useful field and it allows you to get up and running really quickly. So to demonstrate what it does, I have this pretty empty scene and I've just copied over the known character from the demo scene, and I haven't added the camera controller to the camera yet. So I'm going to do that now. And for comparison, I'm going to make sure that the profile is nothing right now, just so we can see the differences. So I hit setup camera, the camera's been added. Now when I hit play, and then I start aiming, we'll notice that the camera doesn't zoom in at all. The reason for that is because there is no zoom state on this adventure view type. If we look at the states, we'll see that it just has its default state, so it doesn't know to zoom. We could either add the zoom state manually, or we could remove these camera controller components, and then we could use this main camera profile. This is a profile that I created and is shipped with the demo scene. So now when we hit setup camera, and we hit play, we'll notice that the camera zooms. It zooms because, scroll down, and now when we hit aim again, we'll see that the zoom state gets activated, and if we click on this zoom state,
okay, so we have to
we'll see that it adjusts the look offset, the field of view, and the smoothing. So that's how the camera zooms in, and it's because of that state.
It's in presets camera folder. Okay, game ultimate control. Okay.
So this profile field is extremely useful to use a set of preset values. The profile can be added to this main camera, the character, and then also the items. And if you wanted to create your own new profile, you can do so by right-clicking, create, ultimate character controller, and then state configuration.
Okay, so let's do that. Create folder, custom presets. Okay, right-click, create. Where was it again?
If you wanted to create your own new profile, you can do so by right-clicking, create, ultimate character controller.
Ultimate character control. Okay, yeah, makes sense. Create ultimate character. There it is. State configuration.
And then state configuration. This will create a new file. And then let me click on that file.
Okay, let's call this custom camera. Let's save it on custom presets. Yep. Custom preset underscore camera. Custom preset underscore. Yeah, I like that name. Okay. So we go here. Let's copy from main camera. I think this is set up already. Yeah, yep. There's a lot of... There seem to be the correct stuff all in here. So let's do that. Main camera, copy. And then there's the zoom. So I want this zoom to be removed. And then when you go here to the camera setup, I want to use the custom set. And then third. I think it was third-person combat. Okay, setup. Now if I go to main camera, I think it shouldn't have a zoom anymore. Oh, there is still a zoom state. Maybe okay, let's just duplicate this for now. You're the backup in case I mess up. Hide, then let's remove everything. Camera controller, remove. What is this script? Okay, let's remove it for now. Oh wait, I cannot remove it, can I? Oh no, I can. Oh, okay, never mind. So that's always in there. Okay, so now let's set up the camera. So tools, Opsive, character manager, setup, third person combat, profile is custom. Here, main camera, I think. Okay, setup. So it did add all of these things. The zoom is still in here though, but maybe that's fine. Maybe it's in the settings somewhere. It says no more zoom because in my custom preset there's no zoom state. So select profile, main camera. Yes. Okay. So let's try this. In theory, when I block, I'll no longer zoom. Since I do plan on making this a mostly melee game. No, it still zooms. Huh. Okay. Well then maybe instead... Okay. That's interesting. Okay, maybe instead I figure out something else. Okay, let's just do this again. Copy. Yeah, the zoom is still in here. What's this? Oh, there, main camera 1. What if I did this? Remove that. Profile type camera. So now, if I go to here, let's remove, and camera controller remove, and then go to the setup again. Character manager, setup. Let's do third person combat, custom. Let's use main camera 1. setup. Okay. So now let's check copy. Oh, there I don't see a zoom. Okay. So let's press play. Let's see if that worked. Oh, wow. Okay. Nice! There's no more zoom. Perfect. Okay. Feels more like Sekiro now. Nice, nice, nice. Oh no. I can no longer attack or block. What happened? What is that? That's so weird. I wonder if it needs the zoom for it to work. Okay, maximize on play. So let's see. We attack once. We attack. Okay, we can attack twice. Okay, the combo system is not set up with this again. I don't know why. I don't know why though. I mean, it was set up before. Let's see. Clear. Items, my sword. Melee weapon. It was somewhere in the audio clips, right? No, not audio clips, but trail properties. Here audio states. You need to add one, and then this one should be 3. Okay, so that was the melee weapon script. Let's go to player and apply overrides. Now let's try again. Ooh, lag. Oh, there we go. Oh, nice, there we go. Okay, block and unblock. It's working. You can still attack twice. Okay, good. Alright. Oops. Okay, so what happened to my music? Whoops, not that. Ah, it just finished. Okay, let's go next. Ooh. This song's giving me Rain World vibes. Interesting. Astral. Okay. Something happening here. Something happening on Twitch. No, still not much. Okay, so back to tutorial land. So,
and let's drag in, let's say that we want to create a profile for this camera. If I drag in the copy from game object, it will allow me to copy and create a new profile. So after I hit copy, all these different states are added to the existing camera. And then you could remove them or edit the states if you wanted to, just to customize it to exactly how you want your profile to be. So yeah, I highly recommend that you use these state configuration and state profiles fields, since it'll speed up your workflow dramatically.
okay, nice. Animator controller structure. Okay, let's learn this one next. Oh, this one's hefty. Okay. I'm gonna take a CR break right before we begin this one. I'll be right back. Alright. Oh no. Okay. There seems to be some. Is it spam? That's a big yikes. I don't want to click those links. um. Yeah. How do I mod view? Okay, mod views is kind of channel that includes everything you need to moderate channels. Okay. New canvas. Okay. Documents will just provide quick stats and access to your one-off task. Oh, whoops, excuse me. Okay. You don't need a certain widget. All the contacts you need. You can ban, timeout, or report the senders to. Message held by Automod. I want to see Automod prompts in this button. Whenever anyone takes an action, we'll inform you here. You can filter out action types with you, find lesser events through the top menu. Still in progress for now, it will just show which are connected to chat, which mods are connected to chat, but we will be updating it to also say when they last did something. When they last did something. It will... Okay. Follow comes online. Okay. Okay. Done. So these are the users in chat. So who are these people and why is there spam? Require users to wait between sending messages. Okay. No need. Emotes only chat. How do I show mod icons? There. Okay, let's. Oh god, there's more messages. Let's just delete these. Delete. Okay, there we go. So now. Okay, so at least the spam's gone. I'll probably ban these. I'm pretty sure they're bots. Eventually, if they keep showing, but for now, at least they're gone. So, okay, animator controller structure. Okay, if this teaches me how the animator works, then I'm probably going to be able to replace the main dude, the placeholder character, with a custom character. I'll probably figure out how to make one or buy one at that point, and then yeah, probably gonna make a waifu. Bring out the full weeb. But for now, yeah, let's see what this can teach.
In this video, we're going to take a close look at how the animator controller is used by...
Oh yeah, I watch at ×2 speed. I watch tutorials at ×2 speed. It's just that the speed of how I intake info.
The ultimate character controller. For this video, I'm assuming that you already have experience with the animator.
Okay, wait, it's a little quiet, so let's go to music and lower it a bunch. Okay, And then let's go back.
Controller. And if you're just getting started with it, I highly recommend that you first take a look at Unity's resources on it and just kind of go through it just to get an idea with how it works. If
Okay,
you're
I already know how the Unity animator works, at least at the basic level. So yeah, I'm gonna watch this already.
looking for some resources, take a look at the Ultimate Character Controller documentation. I have a link to some videos that Unity has produced. I think it's under the replacing animations topic. So with that said, I know that the animator controller within the demo scene is there's a lot to it. There's many different states, transitions, layers, and there's just substates. And like if we look at this jump substate, there's just a lot of different transitions. And what I recommend doing for your own project is actually going to the create menu and creating a brand new animator controller. The reason I say this is because if you're using a brand new animator controller, you know exactly what's in it, and you also are only including what is needed. The demo scene animator controller, it includes a lot of different use cases, and most of those, or a lot of those different use cases, do not or will not apply to your own project. So by using your own animator controller, you are able to only get the animations that you need, and it's only using the resources that you need. With that said, I know that it definitely helps having an understanding on how this animator controller works, and so that's why I'm going to go through and kind of explain what is unique about how the Ultimate Character Controller uses the animator controller. When you are creating your own animator controller, the character controller doesn't really care what state or transition it's in. All it cares about are the parameters that are within the animator controller, and an easy way to get all those parameters is to just create a new character and drag in your new animator controller, and then build your character, and the character builder will automatically add the required parameters. You can then just delete your character and just apply this animator controller to your existing character. So with that said, let's take a closer look at how the demo scene animator controller works. And to do that, I'm going to first start by going from top to bottom, explaining what all these different parameters are used for. These parameters, I'm probably going to say it again, but these parameters, you may not necessarily use it in your own animator controller, or you may find a different use for that particular parameter, and that's great. I highly recommend customizing it to your own project. So let's go ahead and hit play and just kind of see what values change and see how
Sounds so modular. I like it.
it works. So right now I have a third person set up with the bow, and when I press the forward button, we're going to see this forward movement parameter that is going to change. And when I press the horizontal movement value, then the horizontal movement parameter is going to change. When I it's a combination between WASD, it's just going to keep switching between the -1 and 1 for depending on the strength of the button press. With a keyboard, it will always, when the button is down, it's down, so it'll have a value of 1 and -1. But you can have in between values if you're using something like a controller or a joystick. Right now I'm using the combat movement type, and that's why the character can strafe, and that's also why there is a horizontal movement parameter that changes. If I were to switch the character to using a adventure movement type, then you'll notice that the forward movement parameter, that always just stays at 1 no matter which direction I am facing, and that is just because that's the way that the adventure movement type works, because you can't actually strafe or move backwards with the adventure movement type. So I'm going to switch back to combat because that provides a little bit better example for this next set of parameters. And the next set of parameters that I'm going to look at are the pitch and the yaw. These are the camera pitch and the camera yaw in comparison to the character's angle. So if I change the pitch, you'll notice how this pitch changes as well relative to the character, and then the yaw is also changing. The combat movement type will always have the character facing in the forward direction. So if I were to change really quickly, like I'm just quickly move to the left, you can notice that the yaw value changes, and that's just the delta value between the look direction of the camera versus the look direction of the character. The speed parameter is used by the speed change ability, so I can activate the speed change ability by holding the shift key, and we'll notice that that switches to a value of 1. We'll also notice that the forward movement value switches to 2, and those parameters are changed. Within the speed change ability, we can click on this, and we can see that there's a speed parameter, and that's set to 1. So that's used by the parameter or the animator controller, and that's where it's set. You could also probably get the same results by not having this parameter at all and just comparing the horizontal or forward movement value. It's just that by having this parameter, it makes the transitions a lot more convenient because you can compare just against one parameter versus needing to compare against multiple. And these horizontal and forward movement values, you'll notice that they get doubled when the speed change ability is active, and that comes from this speed change multiplier. The height parameter is very similar to the speed parameter in that it's set by the height change ability, and so that's where this height parameter comes from. So when you go into crouching pose, you can see that the height changes. The moving parameter gets changed when the character is moving on the horizontal axis.
I wanna check that out. You can actually crouch in this character controller pala. I have a feeling it's a control button. Let's see. Nope, control is also attack. Apparently. Shift is speed up. Oh, C to crouch. Okay, that makes sense. And you can move while crouching. That's cool. You cannot sprint while crouching, but still cool. Oh no! I want to stand up again. No! I'm permanently crouching. Yikes! Is there any? Oh wow! T is to equip and unequip. Okay. Can I stop crouching? No other buttons do anything. So I just don't understand the control stand. So I'm gonna have to learn how to uncrouch. But let's see. Yeah, let's keep watching.
So that's where this height parameter comes from. So when you go into crouching pose, you can see that the height changes. The moving parameter gets changed when the character is moving on the horizontal axis. So notice he's moving right now in any direction on the horizontal axis. Moving is going to be set to true. When I am just moving on the vertical axis, such as when the character is jumping, moving will not be set to true at all. And this is just used to be able to tell that the character is kind of in a movement position by some of the transitions, and where these transitions don't necessarily care if the character is falling. The aiming parameter is very similar to that, and it just gets selected when the aim ability is active. And these four parameters in particular, you could probably get the exact same results if these parameters didn't exist and it was instead you just had to compare based on other parameters. But these are kind of more, I see them as convenience parameters. They make your life easier when determining which transition to make. This movement set ID is set by the item, and let's go ahead and click on the bow. We can see that it has an animator movement set ID of 2, and a good example of this is, let me go to him in the scene view. And you can see that when the character is aiming, his left hand or his left foot is stretched out in front of his right foot. And if I were to then aim the assault rifle, the feet are just kind of staying in the same position. And that is done with this movement set ID, because the movement set ID kind of determines the base set of animations that should play based on the item that is equipped. Now, this is what worked for the demo animator controller. If you happen to be working on your new animator controller and you see that a better use for your particular use case is to kind of use this movement set ID in a completely different way, I highly recommend you do that and just kind of use it as you can and use it for whatever purposes you can. It's just that this was the purpose that we found worked best for our situation with the demo animator controller. The ability index is used by the ability system, and I'm sure that you've seen the animator controllers where they have 1,000 different parameters, and each one specifies a specific state, like is jumping, is crouching, is falling, is whatever. And this is, instead of doing that, we have a kind of a cleaner method where we just base this character state on an index value, and this index value is set on the actual ability. So let me go ahead and jump, and you can see it has a value of 1, then a value of 2. That means that the jump ability started, the jump ability ended, the fall ability started, the fall ability ended. The fall ability has a value of 2, jump has a ability of 1. So we can see that this is set right here under this ability index parameter. So jump has a value of 1, fall has a value of 2. Not every ability uses the animator, and therefore not every ability needs to use this ability index parameter, such as Ragdoll. Ragdoll doesn't use the animator at all, so it has a value of -1 because it's not going to set the animator parameter at all. Ability change will get set when the ability index changes, and let me take a look at that within the, actually, I'm about to describe the next parameter, and I know I'm going to do that within interact, so let's take a look at this. This is kind of a nice clean substate. So if I look at this substate, for this transition from the any state to press button, it has these 3 conditions: ability change, ability index, and ability indata. Let's ignore ability indata right now. And ability index is set to 9, and ability change is a condition as well. Ability change is a trigger that, as I said, will change when the ability, or will trigger when the ability index changes. And the reason why this trigger exists is because we could be in the press button state, and our ability index could still be 9, and the data could still be 1, but we don't want to just keep retransitioning into press button. We want it to only transition once, and because ability change will only be triggered when the ability index changes, that's why there's this condition. It just prevents us from re-entering animations or states that you're already within. And that's kind of this condition.
I'm pretty sure if I know my Unity animator, let's open it up, that you can prevent entering the same animation. Animator. Oh, holy shit, yeah. Okay, let's go to what were we looking at? We were looking at interact, and we were looking at press button, because this one has, yeah, the ability change trigger. But if I look at settings, you can just turn off can transition to self. Oh, it's already off, so that's interesting. So maybe there's another reason why it also needs a trigger to make sure it doesn't retransition to itself over and over. So that's interesting. Yeah, okay. Keep watching.
That is a good segue into the ability in data and ability flow data, in that these parameters are used by the ability system or the specific ability in whatever way they see fit. In the case of this interact ability, it uses this ability in data to specify what the character is interacting with: a button, a chest, the right door, or the left door. And you can see if I click on the different transitions, the only difference between the different transitions is this ability in data. So it changes from 1, 2, 3, and 4. And that is set by the interact ability, and the interact ability will then set the animator parameter based off of whatever that ability says.
So, oh, press button, open chest, open door right, open door left. Interesting. Okay.
If I go to and I add the interact ability, first off, we'll see that it has an ability index parameter of 9, so that's where that ability int data came from. And then this ability int data value, that is the value that it can set for the animator. So if I wanted this to be a button interact, that's when I would set that value to be number 1. The demo scene, it has 4 different types of interactions, and so that's why there are these 4 different states. So we can remove that for now. Ability float data is very similar to ability int data in that, it's just used in whatever way the ability sees fit. I think the fall ability uses it to determine the velocity of the fall. So let's go and hit play again. And as we're hitting play, we can see that this item ID, it has a value of 4, and slot 0 item ID has a value of 0. Well, these next 8 parameters are duplicated, except the only difference is the slot index. The slot index is the index that the item is parented to. So if we take a look at the character's rig, we currently have the bow equipped, and the bow is in the character's left hand. Let me just show you. So you can see the character the character kind of has it in both hands, but he's really holding it, the base of the bow, from his left hand. And this left hand has this items game object, and this items game object has an item slot component, and this item slot component has an ID of 1. And so that's where that slot 1 came from, and that's why the 4 is appearing within the slot 1 item ID. The bow has an animator ID value of 4, and that is set right there. So the slot 1 represents the character's left hand, and slot 0, which is right here, and it represents the character's right hand. This is for a third-person perspective, but the first-person perspective slot IDs will match. So the first-person right hand will match the third-person right hand. So right now I have the bow equipped in the left hand. If I were to switch, it doesn't look like it actually switched. It's done this to me before. I have to close the animator, and then if I reopen the animator, it should work. But let me click on that again. And now when I switch, we should be able to see the parameters again. So yeah, so now I switch to the assault rifle, and you'll notice that the assault rifle has a value of 1, and that's because, the slot 0 has an item ID of 1, and that's because the assault rifle has an animator ID value of 1, and it's in the 0th slot. Animator ID of 1, and it has a slot ID of 0. This item state index, that can be thought of as the ability index except for items. So notice when I'm aiming, it's going to change to a value of 1, then when I shoot, it will change to a value of 2. If I reload, it changes a value of 3. And all those parameter values, those are set on the item ability. So if I scroll to the item ability, you can see that aim, it has an item state index of 1, then use has an item state index of 2, and reload has an item state index of 3. So those are the exact same parameters that match up. Equip, unequip has a similar situation, except it actually has 4 and 5, because equip, unequip manages both equipping and unequipping. I know that's a great name for the ability. So that's where that item state index has come from, and this item state index change is a trigger similar to the ability change trigger, in that it will trigger when there is a change on the item state index. And that again is just used within transitions, just so that you're not repeating the same animation over and over and over again. This item substate index can be thought of being similar to the int data, in that it's just a parameter that is set by the item ability. In the case, a good example is the use animation. You'll notice that it's changing to 2 right now. If I'm not aiming, it changes from 0 to 2. If I'm aiming, it changes from 1 to 2. And we can change that value within the shootable weapon component. And let me scroll down to shootable weapon. Under the use foldout, so here's use. It has this animator audio state, and this animator audio state value of 2 is what is being set on the animator. And in the case of shootable weapons, this parameter I don't think is used at all, or at least specifically for the assault rifle, it's not used. I know it's used in other places on shootable weapons, but probably for the assault rifle, it's not used. And for melee weapons, that's where it really has a lot of use. If you saw the video on the setting up melee weapons, you'll remember that I set up an animator audio state of 2, 3, 4, and that just allowed the melee weapon to play a combo set of animations. So it's not quite as useful for this assault rifle, but that kind of goes along with some of the other parameters in that you don't have to use it all the time. It's there if you need it, and it just adds another set of customization or extensibility to that animator controller. So these slot 1 item ID, item state index, that mirrors the slot 0 sets of parameters just for the other hand. So we don't need to go over those next 4 since they're the exact same concepts. The leg index is a curve that's controlled by the animations, and that just specifies which leg is out in front first. I think the left, if the parameter value is 1, then the left leg is out in front, and if it's 0, then the right leg is in front. And this can be used by like the jump animation, so it knows that if the character is running, he should lift off of his right leg there, and or he should then land on his left leg, for example. So this is a curve that is set by the animations. So that's all the parameters that are used by the character controller. And I wanted to go into one last topic, and that is important for the character controller, and that is animation events. Let's go ahead and go to the jump ability, because this is a good example of it, and I think I use the same example in the documentation. But when the jump force is actually applied, it's not applied until an actual animation event, because you'll see there's this jump event, and wait for animation event is true. Now if I were to jump, the character doesn't jump immediately when I press the spacebar. It waits until the animation plays the lifting off animation, or it waits until the animator plays the lifting off animation, and that is done with this jump event, or this animation event. So if let me stop that, and we'll go into the jump ability, we'll go into, or the jump substate, and then the jump standing substate, and this jump start animation. We click on that, we are on the jump start clip, and we'll scroll down to the animation event, and we can see that the function name is execute event and on animator jump. Well, the jump ability is waiting for this on animator jump animation event in order to actually start applying the forces. So that's how the ability knows when to apply the force, and it's done through this animation.
Okay, I need to put that in long term. Player abilities, innate, jumping. Actually, wait. Am I just gonna copy this entire thing? Actually, no. I shouldn't make an entire category for long term. Instead, what I should do is in jumping, I need to make custom jump animation that is instant. Fix animator to not wait for animation event, or make animation event happen the moment the jump animation begins. Okay, so these are both long term. I'll just put it number 2. Okay, and then back to the tutorial.
event. If you're, for example, have a first-person character that has no body, then you don't necessarily have a jump event. And what you can do instead is, let me go back to my jump ability, is you can just deselect wait for animation event, and then it'll be based off of a timer. In this case, it's going to fire instantly. So let me go ahead and hit play. And now when I jump, we should see the character just jumps immediately, and it looks kind of odd in a third-person view because the character still didn't look like he should actually be jumping right then. But in a first-person view, that looks good because it's a much more responsive movement, and you don't actually see the animation being played. So this jump event, or these are called event triggers. These are used throughout the character controller. And another popular use location is within the items. And there's these equip events, and there's unequip events, and there's use events, and all these also rely on animation events. If you, like right now, I'm waiting on that equip event, and if you hover over the foldout, you can see which animation event it is waiting for. So that's an easy way to determine, hey, I should add this animation event if I am going to be waiting for that animation event. Otherwise, if you just want it to be waiting on a timer to equip the item in this case, then that you can just deselect that, and it will be waiting. It will be using a timer instead. So hopefully this video kind of gave you a good overview in how the animator controller works by the Ultimate Character Controller. I really hope that this helps you kind of develop your own animator controller for your own game or your own project, because that's really where all the power is, and you'll just kind of get a lot of flexibility by using that method versus just replacing a few animations within the demo animator controller.
Okay, nice. Let's close that. Adding abilities. Okay, we'll learn that next. But also, so what I need to replace the model pala is to just now look for the actual animations. Here, animations. Blitz. Wow, okay. Abilities. Movement. Run, walk. Okay, so yeah, all these animations. Oh, do they come with the model? And so I can't use it on a different model? Oh boy. Opsive, installer, shared, demo. Animations. Oh, that's a lot. Let's hide. Animator. Demo editor. Oh. Inventory, materials, models. Oh, Blitz is a character. Oh, it's a horse. Okay, that's funny. And we have Nolan, which is the actual character. This is it a generic or a humanoid? No, it doesn't even say. Rig, maybe. Ah, there, yeah, it says humanoid. Oh, okay. So, if I were to make my own model, I hope I can apply the animations of these animations to it, and like just just place the animator controller onto it. In fact, I'm going to try that right now. So let's save. Actually, this might mess with things. So since it's a nice checkpoint, I'm going to push this commit to my GitHub so that it's not only saved in my computer, but it's also saved to my cloud area thingy. Okay, let's call this item progress 1 and 2. Let's call this character progress 1. What did we do? We did runtime item pickup, state configuration and profiles, and animator controller structure. I think the only update is we removed zoom while guarding, and then we also everything else we were just learning it. Yeah, we just learned it and stored it in our noggins. We didn't actually apply any of it to the game just yet because we're seeing what we want to actually do with the game. So this one I knew I wanted. I didn't want it to zoom while you were guarding, because if you're guarding like twice every second to block the enemy attacks at the correct timing, then it's just gonna go zoom in and out like multiple times per second, and I don't want that. Okay, so character progress 1, remove zoom, commit to master. Once that's done loading, I'm just gonna push to origin. Okay, now I can move on. Let's make this start loading. Oh wow, there's only 4 minutes for adding abilities. But then I guess all the complexity of adding abilities comes with your own custom code, I'm assuming. So yeah, I'm gonna try to add a parry ability here. Oh, let me search first. Maybe they already have a parry ability. They do. There's parry down, parry left. Wow, interesting. Wait, let's close this and search again. Oh frick, it's so annoying. Okay, let's do this, and then let's. Can I get rid of this? No. Okay. So okay, so yeah, there's a lot of. Is parry block? Huh. In assets, strict call parry. Okay, let's just click this, then close. These are all item animations, katana. Oh, okay. Okay. So I need the abilities though. In fact, oh, these are animation abilities. No, I need. I guess it'll be item abilities, huh? If I make a parry ability, it'll have to go to items based on the way they structured it. Okay, I wanna look for abilities. Ability. Item abilities. There we go. Close. Item pullback and item pullback collider. I don't think that's it. Okay, let's search for ability again. Let's look at. Okay, there are 4 ability folders. Okay, here are all the abilities. Prepare item. Oh, melee counter attack response. Okay, wow. What else? Height change, drive, die. Items. Item ability. I don't. Melee counter attack. Toggle equip. Block. Okay, so there is a block. In-air melee use. Oh, nice. I'm gonna turn that on in a bit. I don't want a melee counter attack because I want the player themselves to just use their basic abilities to counter attack and choose how they want to counter attack rather than explicitly design a counter attack that the player does. Let's see. Reload, toggle equip, use. So yeah, it's gonna be all in this block ability. In fact, I wanna take a peek at the code. Okay, so we have the slot ID, it inherits item ability, default start and stop types. Interesting. Manual. Stop which you used. Index when the character blocks. Oh, index when the character parries. Wow. Okay, so there is an actual parry mechanic, which I'll have to learn. Okay, that's good. Okay, let's watch this first. Actually, is there item abilities in here? States in scripting new abilities. Not quite. So I'll have to learn item ability, like the block ability myself. But I think this tutorial should be a good start. Okay, let's watch. Actually, I want to check. Is there anything happening in Twitch? Nah. Not much. Meanwhile, anything happening here? No, not much. Okay. So, back to watching.
The ability system is an extremely powerful system that allows you to add new functionality to the character without having to change any of the core character controller code. In this video, we're going to go through and set up a few different abilities, but the controller ships with many more abilities than just the ones that we're setting up. Make sure you first check the documentation to see if there are any extra steps required in order to add that ability. I have the character manager open and I have my character already inputted. I wanted to point this out.
So, I need to check the documentation. I want to do that actually. How to check documentation? What's this? I hear documentation. Nice. Okay. Cancel. Okay, good. Very extensive. I want to look at Maybe item? Nah, I need abilities. Here we go. Included abilities. Okay, let's scroll. Okay, I'm just gonna search for. Okay, let's. What if I search for parry? If this doesn't work, I'm just gonna search for block. Okay. Ah, it might not be work. The control F might not be working with this. Okay, damage visualization. Uh, try. Oh wait, these are all the ability. Ah, okay. I think I need to look for item abilities. Oh wait, here. Ah, okay. These are all the abilities right here, pala. Okay, so. Item abilities. Block. There it is. Here! Okay, perfect. The block ability will play a blocking when another object comes into contact with the shield item action. When the ability starts, it will play a block or a parry animation based on the type of item that was hit. If the item has the melee weapon added to it, then a parry animation will play. Otherwise, a blocking animation will play. Okay. A unique block/parry animation can play based on the animation that the opponent character is playing. The blocking animation may be different if the opponent is slashing down with a sword versus slashing to the side with a katana. When the block ability starts, the animation's item substate index will contain a unique ID which indicates which block animation should be played. This ID is up to a 9-digit number that has the following format: AAABBBCCC. First 3 digits indicate the item ID of the melee weapon that the opponent is attacking with. The ID is an integer, so any leading zeros will be truncated. Middle 3 digits indicate the substate index. Wait, the item ID, substate index of the use state that the opponent is running. And last is for the substate index for the current ability. This is retrieved from the impact animator audio state set on the shield. Okay. For an example, let's say the opponent has a sword which has the item ID of 22. Usability is playing an animation with substate index of 3. Finally, the impact animator's audio state set on the shield returns a value of 1. The resulting ID is 220-03001. Oh yeah, 220-03001. Is that correct? This is 9 digits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 8 digits only. Okay. Ah, because truncated and there's no. This isn't a 3-digit number, so the first 0 got removed. Okay. So inspected field slot ID. That should be used. -1 will block all of the slots. Block item state index. When the character blocks, when the character parries. Okay, so this is what I control when I want the character to parry and versus when I want the character to block. Okay. Drop item set. Okay, I think the rest I'll skip. But basically, so I need to control the parameters on the animator controller to set which parry or block animation gets played. But the actual like code for a blocking and parrying mechanic I'll have to do myself, which is fine. It's what I plan to do anyway because I'm gonna make it custom. But and I'm probably gonna adjust it a lot throughout the game development. But yeah, let us now. I'll just make a note of it in my AI player Nate blocking/parrying. Basically, use code to control the truncated leading zeros are removed. The truncated 9-digit ID, was it? 9-digit number. Item substate index. Substate index. The item substate index is different from the substate index of the state the opponent is running and the current ability. Okay, so it's item substate index. A 9-digit item substate index. Use code to control this 9-digit number to determine whether a block animation or a parry animation is played. Manually code when block/parry is called at what timings. Okay, let's tag both of those as long term. Okay, so now back to the tutorial.
Out because I'm going to deselect standard abilities and ragdoll because we do not want any
Okay, wait, I want to go back here.
to go through and set up a few different abilities, but the controller ships with many more abilities than just the ones that we're setting up. Make sure you first check the documentation to see if there are any extra steps required in order to add that ability. I have the character manager open and I have my character already inputted. I wanted to point this out because I'm going to deselect standard abilities and ragdoll because we do not want any abilities added to the character when I hit build character. We're going to just start with a fresh ability set and add them all manually. So when I hit play, you'll notice that the character can only walk around. He can't jump, he can't crouch, he really can't do anything right now. In order for the character to be able to start doing stuff, we need to add abilities. And we can do that by going to the ultimate character locomotion and scrolling down to the abilities list and then start hitting the add button. Let's first add jump and fall. So let's add jump, and then when the character's in the air but is moving downward, the fall ability should start. The default values for both of these are good values, so when we hit play, we can jump and we'll see him falling. So we just added 2 abilities just like that. The ability system works on a priority system, so the higher the ability is in the list, the higher the priority is. So let's go ahead and add the idle ability, and let's decrease the amount of time that it takes until the idle ability starts. So now the ability will start in 5 seconds, and you should see the little active state after about 5 seconds. So now the idle ability is active. If I try to jump, because idle has a higher priority than jump, you'll notice that I can't jump. I'm pressing the spacebar right now, but idle ability is preventing the character from jumping. So in order to fix that, I need to make sure idle has a lower priority than both jump and fall. So now when I hit play, and after idle starts, we'll see that when I hit the spacebar, the character will be able to jump. And as you saw, the idle ability ended at that time, and now it's going to restart after about 5 seconds. So let's go ahead and add the speed change ability now, which allows the character to run. And let's see, where is that? Right here. And the speed change is a special ability in that it's called a concurrent ability. And basically what that means is that it can be active while other abilities are active. So it doesn't matter as much where it is in the priority list. So now if I'm walking, now I hit shift, he'll start running. And notice if I jump, the ability is still active. It doesn't deactivate at all. And that's because it's a concurrent ability. The height change ability is similar to speed change in that it can be active when the other abilities are active as well. Okay. So now if I start crouching and start walking, speed change is active as well. And he moves a little bit quicker when he's walking. So this is a very brief overview in how the ability system works. Make sure you check the documentation again for when you're adding new abilities, because some aren't as easy as this in order to add, such as the ride and the interact abilities. They require a little bit more setup because they interact with other objects. So yeah, make sure you take a look at the documentation as you're adding abilities. That will go through and tell you exactly how to add each ability.
Okay. So I'm probably going to add the in-air melee use. I'll put that in the list as well. Attacks. Add in-air melee use ability. So that one's short term. I'm gonna do that in a bit. Also documentation. So there's drop, item set, equip. Actually, let's see what it looks like now. Subclass of the usability. Perform a melee attack while it's in the air. Select the plus button. Add a new melee weapon component with a unique action ID that should transition to the correct melee attack animation when the ability is active. And a second example. And under the use animator audio states, it has an item substate index of 10. Okay, so let's look at that. If I go to my sword, is it here or is it in the actual? I'm pretty sure it's here, not the actual game object here. So let's see here. Actually, I should turn these on. There's no reason why they should be off. Okay, so back to the item. So audio states here. The item substate index. Currently it's 3. Okay. You can add another one, I think. Okay. Whoops, that's not the documentation. Okay, so it needs a 10. Assign the action ID specified within step 3 to the action ID field of the in-air melee usability. Okay, so the sword with the action ID of 2. Okay, oh whoops, I keep going to the wrong thing. Action ID of 2. Action ID. Where is the action ID? Attribute. Audio state 2 and 3. Item substate index. I'm not sure where the action ID. Oh, okay. Currently it's 0. Well, this is just ID, but it doesn't say action ID. Although I have a feeling this is it. So let's see. Oops. Let's see. Plus on the under the item abilities fold out of the ultimate character locomotion. Oh, okay. Wait, I need to go to the item IDs. Okay, okay. Um, let's look at locomotion. Okay, here's the locomotion. Now I need to go to the item ability. There it is. Now I need to add. We're adding in air melee use. There. Okay, now we have action ID. Okay, perfect. So, oh frick, wrong. This. So Unity and documentation. Okay, so select the plus button, item abilities, add the inner melee use, add a new melee weapon component with a unique action ID that should transition to the correct melee attack animation when the ability is active. The sword item has a melee weapon component with an action ID of 2, and under the use animator audio states, it has an item substate index of 10. Okay, so frick, wrong thing again. Unity. So action ID of 2 and substate index. Oh, this is the item state index, not the substate index. Huh. Audio clips. General. UI, FX, events, states. Okay, so move all those. Okay, so in air melee use. I should properly put this right above everything else, but right under use. Or maybe actually, let's put it above use. Okay, there. And then okay, and then I want to check out actually the height change and see. Stop. Start type is button down. Stop type is button toggle. Oh, interesting. Oh, what if I made it button up? Okay, now let's maximize the play, right? Okay, let's press play. So I want to see what happens when I crouch and try to uncrouch. Oh, nice! I know, just have to hold it. Okay, that's exactly what I wanted it to, the way I wanted it to work. That's good. That's good progress. Okay. Oh, I didn't do the air melee attempt, but that's because I want to really make sure it's correct before trying, so I understand this. In air melee use. So, oops. Let's go to documentation and Unity. Okay, so add a new melee weapon component with a unique action ID that should transition to the correct melee attack animation. The sword item, action ID of 2, it has an under the use animator audio states. It has an item substate index of 10. Okay, let's frick. There. What? Okay, there, there, there. It really needs 2 alt tabs to go to Unity, even though it only takes 1 alt tab to go back to the documentation. So if I alt tab only once, it would go to. Oh no! Now it's going to Unity. Okay, nice. I don't know why it was weird for a bit there. Okay, so so let's go to our item, my sword. So use the audio states. Under the action ID of 2, under use animator audio states, it has an item substate index of 10. Well, let's just try it. 10 over here. Oh, okay. Transitions to 10. Or that's a 10. Action ID of 2. Action ID. Well, let's try it. 2. Maybe that is the ID, but I'm not sure. Also, let's go to player again. Scroll down to in our melee use. This is the item state index. This is the action ID. So let's make the action ID 2. And then item state index. It's not the substate index though. Do we make it 10? Okay, let's make it 2 for now. I want to see what's going on. Okay, if I attack. Okay, my attack no longer works. If I try to jump attack. Oh, it works. But, oh god. That looks very weird. Oh god. My character is permanently falling and gravity no longer works. Okay. Very weird. So, doing that has caused multiple null references. Okay, so I think I set some wrong things somewhere. Yeah, some hitboxes are not working. Okay, so let's try. Scroll down. Um, action ID. This action ID is 2. Okay, let's go to the sword and put the ID back at 0. Slot ID. Oh, it went back to 0 on its own. Okay. Oh, the audio states became only 0. Oh wait, no, there's 2. Oh wait, no, these are for equip. Okay. But how about here the melee weapon script. There, this 10. So let's set this to 3. Oh no, it's changing things that I don't want to change. So this should be okay, so this should be 2. Let's change this to be 3. Okay. Impact, recoil, trail. Okay. So on use, there's 2 and 3. So this is the combo of right attack. What's this? Right slash, left slash, over and over. Okay, understand. I'm understanding this more now. Allow during movement. Require grounded. Okay. So neither of these require grounded anymore. Nor do they have delays. Oh, there are more states down here. Okay, let's hide that again. Oops, hide please. Okay, so here IDs 2. Let's make it go back to 0. Okay, let's just make this clean and apply overrides. Then let's click play again and see what happens. Okay, how's the stream doing? Okay, no new spam. That's nice. Okay, here we go. Okay, we have a regular attack and that attack. We have block and unblock. So now if we jump and attack, it still doesn't work. Okay, so how do I change the jump attack? Documentation. Add a new melee weapon component. Assign the action ID specified within step 3 to the action ID field of the in-air. Oh wait, hold up. I need to add a new melee weapon component. Oh, okay. Okay, okay. I think I'm getting it. So go to my sword. Because we have this melee weapon component right here, right? So what if I added another one? Oh yeah, so they do just stack third person properties. Okay, so this one will have, I'm assuming, an ID of 2. And then audio state, this one will be 10. Wait, it has to be a unique ID. Hmm. Does the weapon require the in-air melee use item in order to be used while in air? Yes. Oh wait, actually I want to check. If I go up here, oh this is also checked. Okay. Single hit. When the weapon attacks, wait, when the weapon attacks, should only one hit be registered per use? Ah, okay, no. I'm allowing multiple enemies to get hit and cleaved by an attack. For a counter attack, forward shield. No, no, no. I don't think we need that. So in this new weapon, we have 2, and then we have animated audio state of 10. Did this one have a state name? In the use? Okay, use state name. No, it did not. Okay, so here in the use state is still 10 and 2. ID of 2. Okay. And then if I go to the player and I scroll down to item abilities, in air melee use, action 2. Well, yeah, action ID is 2. Okay, let's try this. So save. Okay, maximize on play. Okay. Oh wow! Okay, it works, but it still does this weird thing where the character is perma-stunned right after. So okay, I think I know. I need to add a second one. If I go to my sword and I scroll down, I need to add a second audio state. Let's make it 11 and see if that works. Okay, save. But at least I'm learning how this works. Okay, so play. Okay, so if we attack and smash, nope, we're still stunned. And like, yeah, we're still stunned and can't do anything anymore. So the first/third person melee weapon properties cannot be found for the my sword. Ensure the component exists and the component's action ID match the action ID of the item, which is 2. So the action ID of the item, animator ID. Okay, maybe it's in my sword. No, this is literally just a sword. So my sword. This one has a slot ID of 0, animator item ID, but I don't see any action ID. Uh, and meanwhile, okay. Oh, UI monitor ID, third person perspective, melee weapon, ID 0. I have one at ID 0. Oh, here, third person melee weapon properties, action ID 0. So I think I need a new one. So it's called third person melee weapon properties. Okay. So third person melee weapon properties. A new one. This would be action ID 2. Hitboxes should be my box rather damage multiplier 1. Okay. Sword damage multiplier 1. Okay, maybe that works. Save. Clear. Fix that. Play. Press F to open door. Lol. Okay, so that still works. Now if I jump attack. Oh ho! Whoa, what the heck? Wow. Okay, that is super sick. Okay, so what if I went to my sword? Okay, so I now know how this all works. That's amazing. It's so modular. You just keep adding and adding. Okay, so for this one, let's change. Okay, the 11 animation is not quite correct. What if I just left it at 10? Like it's looping over the same attack in the combo. Uh, Also, let's apply overrides again. Player. What? Overrides. Apply all. And then maximize on play. Wait, save first. And once that asterisk is done, it's okay. Maximize on play. Okay. Let's see. It's loading. Okay. Okay. Oh no. Yeah, that's weird. So yeah, it really needs something to combo with. Um, so maybe I have to look at. I'm gonna check all the animations to see something that's more appropriate. So let's go to where would that be? I hear animations, items, melee, sword. So all of these should have uh, an ID. Animation. How do I know the ID? Or maybe it's here actually. Okay, let's maximize the animator. Let's go to idle movement, aim idle, aim interact. How about right hand there? Whoops. Sword. Idle, entry, exit. Huh? There's nothing in here. Seems weird. Right arm there. Sword. Oh, okay, here it is. Idle, equip stuff, and drop. Oh, but there's no. Again, there's no. Ano. What is additive right arm? Dual pistol. Okay. Try fire. Okay. Full body there. Magic. Wow. Sword. Oh, okay. Oh, I see. I see. Okay. Let's shift space and see the inspector for these. Speed, cycle offset, attack one. Oh, this is involved. Wow. My gosh. Okay. Special attack. Speed 3.2. Ah, it's these things. But I want to know the number. Like them arranged by number. Oh, there's jump attack. Jump attack end. Huh. Maybe I could search it in the documentation. If I look at all the animations. Animation. Oh gosh. Okay, animator animation here. Springs animation events. Spring system. Spring system. No, that's not it. First person arms. Replacing animations. Should also ensure the upper body layers also matches new walk animation for each item. Layer manager. No. Surface. Respawner. Object pool. A star pathfinding. Final okay. Oh wait, these are not all ano the these are not all purely for character controller. Okay. So where is I'm still looking for the animation stuff. Ah, maybe I look for hmm wait. These are the item abilities. Okay, in air media use. And under the it has an item substate index of 10. Upward force frames, downward force frames on ground with substate index, ground impact, recoil, counter attack. Okay, so ah, there's use and in air media use. I guess I'll just experiment because I already know what 11 looks like. So I guess I'll try 12. I'll just trial and error. Okay, open this. Let's fix that. Fix that. Go to my sword. Actually, I want a slightly larger inspector. Something like there. Okay, so huh. Here. Instead of 10, this one. Let's try 12. Okay, play. Let's see what that animation is. Actually, why am I using the downward slash? What I want is just a regular slash. So that's one. Oh, 12 just looks like that, huh? So jump and smash. Oh no, now it's weird. And then jump and it's like that, which still looks weird. Jump, smash, jump. It looks weird. Yeah, okay. So what if I made it 2 and 3? Let's see. Um, Scroll down to here. Here. So I just make them the regular attacks 2 and 3. Save. Okay, maximize. Okay, so jump attack. Oh, nice! Jump attack. Perfect! Okay. It's just using the regular. Okay. So jump attack. Okay, okay, okay. There. So we've made progress. We now have jump attacks. Let's save that one. Character progress 2 implemented jump attacks. Commit. And push. Okay, so we still need to do blocking, parrying, and a bunch of other things. But at least, oh wait, let's go to jump attacks. The animations are done for jump attacks, or at least the initial basic animations for jump attacks. Whoops. Then regular attacks, basic animations are also done. Add in area. Okay, this is also done. So this is done. This is done. Okay. Dashing. We have sprinting. So this is done. But dashing we don't have yet. Dashing slash dodge rolling. Lol. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. In fact, maybe I can search for it in the documentation. Is there a dodge? There's no dodge. Is there a dash? There is no dash. Okay, let's look at all the abilities in the all the movement abilities. Hmm. Hmm. Oh, there's a slide. Will apply a force to the character if the character is on a steep slope. If the slide ability is not added to the character, then the character will not slide off of slopes that are too steep for the character to slide on. Okay, no, that's not what we're looking for. Speed change. Okay, when the ability activates, it will set the speed animator parameter. Speed of 0 indicates that the ability is not active. Can persist when other abilities are active, so those abilities know that the character has a different speed. When the character uses root motion, the speed change ability doesn't actually change the character's speed. It is still up to the animation to change the character's speed. When the speed change ability is active, it will multiply the horizontal and forward movement animator parameters, which will then allow the animator to know that it should play an animation that has a different speed. For example, movement blend tree. Notice for any of the running animations, it blends based on a value of 2. Okay. With this setup, when the horizontal or forward movement parameter has a value of negative 2 or 2, then the character will play the running animation. It can also be used in reverse. If you'd like the character to sneak, then the speed change multiplier should be set to 0.5, so a sneaking animation can be added to the blend tree when the horizontal or forward movement parameters have a value of 0.5. Okay. Select the plus, add the speed change ability. It doesn't matter where it is placed within the list because it is a concurrent ability. And the fields have the speed change multiplier, change value, speed parameter, require movement. Does it require movement in order to stay active? Okay. Okay, so we need to make our own. Wait, this is custom code for custom dash. We need to basically make our own. Okay, I could code that. Done so before. In fact, it will be sort of interesting because it's a it's a dash, but then if the player keeps holding on the button, I'll allow them to sprint, to like turn that into a sprint. So the start of every sprint is a dash with iframes. So I need to include iframes. Include iframes. Okay, these are both semi-long term, so I'll put that. Okay. Mm, so what other tutorials are there after adding abilities? The interactability. I should probably learn that one. State system surface, scripting abilities, updating. Okay. So yeah, before I make a custom block parry and a custom dash, I'm gonna have to work my way all the way up to this tutorial. Okay, so is there anything happening here? No, not really. But I think I'm goods for now with the progress that I've made. So I'm gonna turn this stream off and stream another time. Alright, thanks for watching.